Greetings. Hi everyone, how's it going? Welcome to this video. If you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. On this channel, I analyze song lyrics very in depth. Today, we are doing an in-depth literary analysis of the song Happiness is a Butterfly by Lana Del Rey. If you are a Lana Del Rey fan, I've already analyzed two of her other songs, Summertime Sadness and Mariner's Apartment Complex. I'll go ahead and link that if you're interested. As a quick disclaimer before we get started, everything presented in this video is my own personal opinion. I always encourage you all to comment down below what your thoughts are. I personally think that word choice is very, very important. For that reason, I tend to concentrate on diction, which is word choice, and connotation, which can be thought of as like the vibes or the emotions that the words elicit. Let's go and get started. Happiness is a butterfly. Happiness is a feeling. It can be a state of mind. A butterfly is super cute. When I think of a butterfly, I think of something that's delicate and beautiful. It's lively, there's movement, but the movement is small. I'm just thinking about when a butterfly flutters its wings. It's very majestic and elegant. Another thing to note about a butterfly is that it undergoes metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the name of Hilary Duff's debut album. They actually released it on vinyl. I bought it because I love Hilary Duff, and it's a clear vinyl. Like, it's super cute. Anyways, metamorphosis is a process of transformation. A butterfly always starts out as a caterpillar. It undergoes metamorphosis by turning into a pupa. It like goes under a leaf and it forms a chrysalis, which is like a hard shell around the caterpillar. Inside the chrysalis, changes occur, it matures. When the butterfly emerges from its chrysalis, its peak cuteness is reached, and it's also more mature as well. It's like an adult, #adulting. So a butterfly has to go through a very significant change to become who it's meant to be. That change takes time. That change also includes a period of just being stagnant and silent, at least to the outside world. When it's in a chrysalis, no one from the outside can tell what's going on, so it seems very still, like nothing is happening, but inside a lot of change is occurring, and it's always change for the better. Another thing I will say about butterflies is that sometimes they can be hard to catch. I don't know if you ever tried to catch butterflies as a kid. They don't fly super fast, but sometimes it's hard to like get them to land on your finger. When they fly, it's kind of like a flutter. It's very beautiful, it's very elegant, but they never seem rushed. When they flutter about, if you look at their wings and just like their entire vibe, in my opinion, they're existing in a balanced state. So when they're fluttering, they're moving, but they're not rushing. They seem to be moving in tune with the universe. I find that butterflies move at an appropriate speed, and I think that's very important. Lana here is saying that happiness is like a butterfly. So happiness is something that is lively, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to observe, but it's also beautiful to have close to you, right? Like a butterfly, when a butterfly sits on your finger, it's super cute. And happiness is something that can emerge from a transformation. It's something that takes time, and it's something to be cherished. Perhaps it's something that exists in a balanced state. You can't rush it. Verse 1, do you want me or do you not? I heard one thing, now I'm hearing another. Dropped a pin to my parking spot. The bar was hot. It's 2 a.m. It feels like summer. The very first line of this song is a question. The protagonist of this song, protagonist just means the main character of a story, is asking a direct question. I personally think it's very significant when there are questions in a song. This is giving us a glimpse into the internal state of the protagonist. There is perhaps a bit of uneasiness present because they're asking a very significant question. They're asking someone, I'm assuming their love interest, whether they want them. That's a pretty heavy loaded question. It's not like a casual, oh, do you want coffee? It's like, do you want me or do you not? And that's how we're starting off the song. This is serious. Lana means business. I heard one thing, now I'm hearing another. The protagonist of this song has not gotten a straight answer to their question. Perhaps the love interest is changing their answer or not giving a direct response, or maybe the protagonist is hearing things from other sources. Maybe the love interest is saying one thing and then their friends are saying another thing. I get a feeling of frustration here. When you initially ask someone a question like this, whether they want you or not, you're not often that direct. You can be, but usually you're a bit more subtle. And when you are this direct, it's after you've tried subtleties. I feel like this is the breaking point. The protagonist has tried a lot of different things. They just need an answer straight from the source. Do you want me or do you not? Let me know. Dropped a pin to my parking spot. I really, really love this line. This is referring to when you drop a pin or drop your location to your friends with your smartphone. This modernizes the song and it kind of brings you into the present moment. The first two lines make me a bit emotional, but I'm brought out of that emotion, and this is more of a logistical type of thing. I'm getting context clues, kind of like an action, right? So we were in the emotional state and now an action is being done. She's dropping a pin to her love interest. The fact that she's dropping a pin also makes me think that the love interest wasn't planning on meeting up with her. If there were plans prior to this, she wouldn't need to share her location. He would know where she was and he would already be on his way. What this is telling me is that perhaps they're meeting last minute. Based on everything prior to this in the song, I don't believe the love interest is as invested as she is. And if you want to think about this in terms of power dynamics, Lana, or the protagonist of this song, emotionally has a little bit less power than the love interest because she's the one asking him questions. She's the one that's unsure, and she's the one that's sharing her location. Again, sharing your location usually means things weren't planned. It's like a last minute meetup. Not all the time, but usually. The bar was hot. It's 2 a.m. It feels like summer. I really enjoy the specificity in that lyric. I can really craft an image of what's going on, where she's waiting for him. It's descriptive language that I really enjoy. She was inside the bar and she came out to her parking spot. It's late, it's 2 a.m. and she wants to speak with her love interest. It's possible too that he wants to speak with her. Regardless of who initiated this, it was not planned, I don't think. It feels like summer. It's so hot outside that it feels like summer even at 2 a.m. This reminds me of a song that I just analyzed by Lana, Summertime Sadness. I'll go ahead and link that video if you're interested. In that video, I talked a lot about what summer could mean in that song. It could be a season, but it could also be a mood or a state of mind. I do find it interesting that the season of summer is repeated here again. Does it feel like summer because it's hot, or does it feel like summer because she views summer as an emotion? Is this summertime sadness that she's feeling? So this first verse really sets up a question that the protagonist wants answered. We get insight into her thought processes, and we recognize that she really wants to know if her love interest wants her back. There's a little bit of a power dynamic at play emotionally, and they're gonna meet up right now. It's 2 a.m. Let's see what goes down. Verse 2. Happiness is a butterfly. Try to catch it like every night. It escapes from my hands into moonlight. Every day is a lullaby. I hum it on the phone like every night and sing it for my babies on the tour life. This is a very beautiful verse. In fact, the entirety of the song is very beautiful and very exquisite. I always find that to be the case with Lana's lyrics. Happiness is a butterfly. There's so many different ways you can interpret this, right? And I think depending on your mood, you're gonna interpret it a little bit differently. I think that can be said about any sort of art, that your interpretation will vary depending on the context. In addition to happiness being beautiful and happiness being something that you have to wait for due to the metamorphosis of a butterfly, happiness can also be fleeting. The lifespan of a butterfly isn't that long, so happiness can be a fleeting thing and a beautiful thing at the same time. It can be a momentary presence in someone's life, but it can come and go. Try to catch it like every night. The protagonist of this song is trying to catch happiness. They are on a mission, they want it, they want to possess it. This is like very specific. I'm getting like very, very analytical here, but butterflies actually sleep at night. I looked this up. They are not nocturnal. They do sleep at night. If we want to think about this with great specificity, she's trying to catch it every night. That's going to be very difficult because butterflies are going to be sleeping. Maybe there's like a rogue butterfly that has a messed up sleep schedule, but it's going to be much more difficult to catch butterflies at night. You could interpret this metaphorically. Perhaps the protagonist is looking for happiness at the wrong time, in the wrong place, just in the wrong context. If she looks during the daytime, she can find more butterflies. Therefore, if she looks for happiness with a different person, in a different setting, in a different way, maybe it'll come to her much more easily. It escapes from my hands into moonlight. This shows me that she has it almost within her grasps, right? She has happiness in her grasps, but it escapes from her. She can't hold on to it. And a lot of times in life, when you try to grasp onto something or when you chase something, it runs away from you. You have to let things flow, right? Just let the butterfly flow to you, just like, or fly to you. I feel like when you're not so like, about getting something, it comes much more easily to you because your vibes are much more chill and you're not stressed or anxious about it. Escapes into moonlight. I talked a lot about moonlight imagery in my lyric analysis of the song Summertime Sadness. Moonlight is very interesting. It's very beautiful. It's very soft and very calm. And depending on the context, it can be positive or negative. One thing I will note about moonlight is that the moon itself cannot create its own light. The moonlight that we see is actually sunlight reflected onto the moon and reflected back onto the earth. So the moon is not able to create its own light. It is not self-sufficient at creating its own light. It cannot do that for itself. The moon is always going to be dependent on the sun for light. And when we see moonlight here on the earth, it's so beautiful, it's so soft, it's romantic, it's like super cute. But if you want to look at it metaphorically, this happiness is going into the moonlight. Happiness I view as a very bright thing. I view sunlight as happiness, but this happiness, this butterfly, is going into the moonlight. That's a very interesting image to think about. A lot of people associate happiness with the color yellow, and the sun is yellow or golden. So this happiness, right, this like gold butterfly is going into the moonlight. It's escaping into the moonlight, and the moonlight is getting its light from the sun. So is this happiness just going back to its source? It's going to the moonlight, and then perhaps from the moon it'll like go back to the sun. That's kind of reaching a little bit, but it's very interesting to think about the relation between the bright nature of happiness and the light from the moonlight. If you really wanted to, you can view this song very metaphorically and just thinking about how those things interact with one another, you can really change the way you interpret it. My purpose with these videos is not to say my opinion is right. I just really enjoy doing this. I always tell you guys my personal opinion, but I also try to include different vantage points that you can take, and then you can make your own conclusions about what the song means, and hopefully that'll make the song more meaningful to you and you can personally just vibe with it more. To me, I view most things metaphorically, so it's interesting that this happiness is escaping into moonlight, which cannot create its own light. That's a very beautiful yet somber image at the same time. And the fact that she's looking for it every single night, that's a very repetitive action. She's trying, right? The frequency of this action is like often, right? Every single night, but she still has not been able to catch it. So the issue here is not the frequency of her trying to find happiness, it is the way in which she's doing it. It is perhaps the context in which she's trying. Every day is a lullaby. This line holds a very interesting juxtaposition. Juxtapositions when things are set side by side for the purpose of comparison. A lullaby is usually sung at night, but she's saying the days are lullabies. I actually looked up the definition of lullaby to see what it specifically means. This is from Oxford Languages. It states that a lullaby is a quiet, gentle song to send a child to sleep. This is in direct opposition to day, right? Lana is not saying that every night is a lullaby. She's saying every day is a lullaby. A lullaby is soft, it's sweet, so it's positive in that sense, but it is existing during a time it is not supposed to exist. Unless you are working at night, you should not be sleeping throughout the day, every single day. That's when you're supposed to be active and living your life and building your life and cultivating happiness for yourself. But for the protagonist of this song, the daytime is a lullaby. She's getting lulled to sleep during the peak hours that she's supposed to be awake. The protagonist of this song perhaps is asleep metaphorically in her life. To be asleep metaphorically means that emotionally or psychologically or even spiritually asleep, you're lacking understanding or awareness of something. You're like in a daze, you're slow moving, you're not able to get anything done. It's like a heavy, ambiguous sort of vibe, and that is not positive at all. I hum it on the phone like every night. So during the day, she experiences this lullaby, and she experiences it so much that it stays in her head. She hums it. So the lullaby like goes into her existence, and it comes out via humming, and she hums it into the phone. I don't know if she's talking to her friends or to her love interest, but she's humming that lullaby into the phone. The fact that this lullaby is going into her brain and into her vibes and coming outward, it's kind of like a cycle. This shows that it has a very profound effect on her. It is getting into the depths of her soul. Especially for the protagonist of this song, if we were to assume if it's Lana, her whole life is about lyrics and singing. This is like her art. This is very serious, and to express your art is a very soul level type of activity. So this lullaby is going into the depths of her being, and the fact that it's being poured out via humming means that it's been internalized. A singer that is an artist, whatever they're emoting or whatever they're singing, it's from inside of them. This lullaby has gotten inside of Lana. That's very significant. And that also makes me concerned Like every night. The qualifier like is very interesting. This kind of modernizes the song again. You know how in conversation, some people, I'm definitely guilty of this, say the word like a lot. Like, oh my God, like this or like that. The word like here is not necessary. It could be superfluous, which just means it's extra. It's like not necessary. It makes it more chill. I feel like if you state every single night, it would be a much more intense thing if she is humming this every night. But it's like every night, which means that it's not actually every night, but it's often. I think she's trying to downplay the severity of the situation here. Sing it for my babies on the tour life. So she is saying that the lullaby she's experiencing during the day, she is taking that and she is crafting music to sing it for her fans on tour. I think that's very beautiful. She's taking her emotional state and she's creating something beautiful. She's creating her art and she's sharing it with all of us. Perhaps this song came from a lullaby, right? Lullabies should not be felt during the day, but they were. And she took that and she created something beautiful to share with her fans. She created her art. If he's a serial killer, then what's the worst that could happen to a girl who's already hurt? I'm already hurt. If he's as bad as they say, then I guess I'm cursed. Looking into his eyes, I think he's already hurt. He's already hurt. This is a lot. Let's get into it. This verse signifies to me that the protagonist is numb. They are very, very numb. I think that they are in a depressed or sad state, detached from reality. They are so hurt that they are not frightened by potential risks. The pain and sadness present here is much greater and much worse than a gruesome death. That's what this is saying. It's kind of like a summertime sadness. In my analysis of summertime sadness, I came to the conclusion, at least for me, that summertime sadness was a state that the protagonist exists in throughout the entirety of the season, and it's familiar to her. That's why she says, "Kiss me hard before you go," because she's gonna miss it. And I argued that perhaps once the summertime sadness is over, she's gonna welcome like the fall time sadness. I think the protagonist here is similar in the sense that they're existing in a sort of sadness long term. Him being a serial killer is not as bad as the emotions that the protagonist is feeling. That's how hurt she is. That's how hurt she is. And this is not an inference because she directly, explicitly states that she's hurt. She's already hurt. She's so hurt in an intangible way that nothing tangible can actually hurt her. Nothing physical can actually hurt her. The pain is all inside, and it's much greater than anything in the outside world. It's very significant. It's very sad. If he's as bad as they say, then I guess I'm cursed. She is accepting the situation. She is gonna stay no matter what. She's like, well, if it's true, then that just means I'm cursed. That's acceptance of the situation. She's not gonna take action to leave it. This is just a very gentle resolve. She is experiencing so much pain that she has no fight left in her. It is what it is. She says she's cursed. That's the explanation for her staying in this. It's really important to remember the emotional and psychological context that she is existing in. If you remember that, then this makes perfect sense. That's why she's not fighting her way out of this. She simply cannot do that right now. And that is not showing weakness. That's just showing that someone is in a great deal of pain. In a great deal of hurt. Looking into his eyes, I think he's already hurt. She's not scared of him. She's detached from reality. Someone who's in the present moment will be scared of someone if they are giving you serial killer vibes. The word serial killer here, it could be literal, but it could also just be metaphorical as someone who is very dangerous and perhaps he's going to kill her emotionally or psychologically or spiritually. There's different ways you can take that. She is looking into his eyes. She is not showing any fear. Again, in Summertime Sadness, I talked about when they're going down the coast, going 99. That's a very risky thing, especially at nighttime. The protagonist in Summertime Sadness is completely detached from reality. They don't care. They're engaging in risky behavior that's like not chill and very dangerous. It's a similar thing here. She's looking directly into the eyes of a potential serial killer, emotional serial killer or legit serial killer, I don't know, but she's not scared. She should be, but she doesn't have the ability or the capacity to be scared because she's trying to just get through her day with the internal turmoil that she's experiencing. That's why she's able to look directly into his eyes. And when she does look into his eyes, she thinks he's already hurt. The word think here is very interesting. She's not 100% sure I don't know if she's projecting her own sadness onto him. Maybe he's just dangerous and doesn't care, or maybe he is sad. I don't know. Is sadness the same as being dangerous? Maybe, but not always. She made a conclusion that he's hurt. I don't know if he told her, but this is the conclusion she's come to. We don't know if it's the truth or if she's just projecting herself onto him. I don't know if this is referring to the same love interest that she dropped a pin to. This could just be a general statement. I think this is her current viewpoint towards dating right now while she's in this great deal of pain. Let me know if you agree or not in the comments below. I said, don't be a jerk, don't call me a taxi. Sitting in your sweatshirt, crying in the back seat. I just want to dance with you. Hollywood and Vine, Black Rabbit in the Alley. I just want to hold you tight down the avenue. I just want to dance with you. I just want to dance with you. In this song, please go listen to it if you haven't already. It's so beautiful the way she says with you. It's so heartbreaking. She pauses slightly before she says with you, so it's kind of like off balance in the song. I don't know the technical terms for describing music. I'm not like well versed in how music is crafted, but when you listen to it, there's a slight pause when she says with you, and it feels like intentionally offbeat to me. It's very beautiful. It's very delicate, kind of like the flutters and the wings of a butterfly are delicate. It makes it stand out more. It's very heartbreaking the way she sings it. She just wants to be with them. The word with you is amplified and set apart from the rest of the lyrics when you listen to it. Please go listen to this song. It's so beautiful. It's absolutely exquisite. This to me is a continuation of the storyline from the first verse. The love interest got there at the parking lot. They had a conversation and they are not leaving together. She was at a bar, so we can assume she was drinking. Instead of the love interest driving her home, he's calling her a taxi. And she's calling him a jerk. Perhaps she wants him to take her home, or perhaps they just had a not chill conversation. She's sitting in his sweatshirt. I don't know if she already had the sweatshirt. I kind of feel like he gave it to her when he came to her spot, and she's crying in the back seat. This is the reality of the situation. The rest of this verse is not the reality, but it is what she wants in an idealistic situation. She just wants to dance with him. The word dance is repeated 3 times in this verse. As I always state in all my lyric analysis videos, repetition signifies significance. When something is repeated in a song, I think that's very important. Oftentimes the title of the song is repeated, which I still think is significant, but here the word dance is nowhere in the title of the song, which makes it even more significant in my opinion. She just wants to dance with him. When you think of dancing, you can think of it as both a positive thing or a negative thing. Dancing was negative in the song analysis I did for Lorde's song Team. I'll go ahead and link that if you're interested, but to me they were kind of like puppets dancing through life because they had to. That's a very different type of dance. But here, I view dancing as intimacy, as a feeling of closeness, as the feeling that someone is on your side. When you have a dance partner, it's like you have a partner in life. That's how I am interpreting dancing in this scenario. Just a very simple statement. I just want to dance with you. The word just, that qualifier, gives it a sense of vulnerability. This is just what she wants, point blank. Slight desperation, but more vulnerability. Hollywood and Vine, Black Rabbit in the Alley. This is all occurring in LA, in California. Black Rabbit, I looked this up. This is referring to a bar. It's actually called Black Rabbit Rose. It's in LA. It is a bar, and there's also burlesque and magic shows. All of this could have actually happened in that location, or perhaps she is choosing this location because it means something special to her. Maybe this is a place she likes to go to. Hollywood and Vine is a very famous street intersection in LA. I referenced Hilary Duff already in this song. Let's continue. Hollywood and Vine is also mentioned in her song Wake Up. That's actually one of my favorite Hilary Duff songs. I love her so much. So Hollywood and Vine, according to Wikipedia, refers specifically to Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street. Again, this is a very famous intersection. An example of something you can find there is the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So this is a landmark spot in LA. Stating those things gives us a setting and also gives us a vibe as well. We know that they're by a bar and it's places that are very famous in LA. So it gives it kind of an old-timey vibe. This song is modernized because she literally drops a pin, her location, to him via a smartphone, but the backdrop of this narrative is LA and it's in very famous spots. There's history there. I know Hollywood and Vine, there's history there. I know in the past there were a lot of entertainment businesses there that had to do with the film industry and the movie industry. So this is kind of giving it a historical context. Not explicitly, but just the vibe. This modern dating or love narrative is occurring, but the backdrop is someplace that has history. It's very interesting. I just want to hold you tight down the avenue. She wants to feel close to him. She wants to feel that intimacy. This verse is very much expectations versus reality. It's very sad. Instead of dancing and being together, they're not even living together. They're just parting ways. Baby, I just want to dance with you. Baby, I just want to dance with you. The way she sings this is very beautiful and very heartbreaking at the same time. She's repeating the word dance. She's repeating the word baby. She's repeating with you. She really wants to feel the intimate connection and bond. And when you're dancing, you're not really having an intense conversation usually. You're just kind of swaying and, you know, maybe like whispering sweet nothings. It's a very calm and chill scenario. And perhaps for someone who is this emotionally numb that she's chill with dating a potential / metaphorical serial killer, she just needs to sway to the melody of a beautiful song. Maybe that's what will heal her. Left the canyon, drove to the club. I was one thing, now I'm being another. Go down to Sunset in the truck. I'll pick you up if you're in town on the corner. The first line of this verse gives me a feeling of transition, of one chapter closing and a new one opening. She left the canyon. Again, this is referring to LA. There's movement here. She's more in control now. If you remember when she left the Black Rabbit initially, she wasn't in control. She had to have a taxi called for her, and now she's the one driving, which shows me that she's in a better state and she has more control. I was one thing, now I'm being another. This signifies a change in her mindset, maybe even emotionally or spiritually. Just like a butterfly undergoes a metamorphosis, a change has occurred here. Hopefully it's for the better. Go down Sunset in the truck. It's referring to Sunset Boulevard. Again, giving us context clues. This is all going down in LA in California. I'll pick you up if you're in town on the corner. I'm not sure if this is referring to the same person, to the same love interest. I don't know if that chapter is completely closed or not after she was crying in the backseat, or if she got over it and this is just someone new that, you know, when they're in town, they're gonna hang out. It could also just be the same love interest at a different time. Maybe they've decided to not be so serious and it's just whenever they're free, they're just gonna hang out. Let me know your thoughts down below. Happiness is a butterfly. We should catch it while dancing. I lose myself in the music, baby. Every day is a lullaby. Try to catch it like lightning. I sing it into my music. I'm crazy. This is actually the last unique verse of the song, so let's go ahead and get into it. Happiness is a butterfly. We should catch it while dancing. The first time happiness is a butterfly is stated, the protagonist is talking about herself, but now the word we is stated. That's unity, that's a team. That's why she wanted to dance with him. She wanted to try to find happiness through that. She's saying, let's do this together. Let's find happiness together. We can do it while we dance, while we're being intimate, while we're being close to one another. I lose myself in the music, baby. Music is her refuge. Maybe that's what makes her feel more awake. She was feeling asleep because of the lullabies during the daytime. Maybe that's what heals her. She has to lose herself in that. There's so much stuff going on internally in her. You know, she's already hurt, and perhaps what heals her hurt is losing herself, surrendering herself to her music. It's her art, it's her craft. The word baby here just signifies that she is telling this to her love interest. Every day is a lullaby. So that's still something that's true for her. The days are a lullaby, which I don't think is a stable or balanced state. Lullabies are for nighttime, unless you like work a closing shift or something. I don't know. Try to catch it like lightning. Lightning is a very interesting image. This is actually an image that she used in her song Mariner's Apartment Complex. I analyze it. I will link that if you're interested. Lightning is a force of nature. It's very strong, it's very fast. It can be dangerous. It can hurt someone. It can also cause a fire if it hits the right place and if there's a spark. She's saying that she's trying to catch it like lightning. So this is a much more intense image. This is a very great progression from the first time she was trying to catch it. This is kind of upping the game a little bit. This is a dangerous context in which she's trying to catch it now. I sing it into my music, I'm crazy. So this second time that she's trying to find happiness is much more intense. It was much more like this the first time, but now it's like this. There's a lot more power behind her trying to catch happiness now. It's not balanced power because lightning is very fast, and again, it can be very dangerous. With lightning comes thunder, which is very loud and sometimes unsettling. She sings it into her music. She's taking that energy, that force of nature of lightning, and she's singing it into her music. So she's channeling that energy. She's channeling this force of nature, and she's putting it into her art. She says she's crazy. To me, that just means that she's in a state of unbalance and she's recognizing this. I think it's good that she's recognizing it because that shows awareness and she's not being numb to the situation like she was prior when she was okay with dating a literal / potential / metaphorical serial killer earlier in the song. So she's funneling all this into her music, and before she was humming it, but now she is singing it. So that shows another sort of progression. It's much more intense now. There's lightning. She is singing instead of humming. She is stating that she's crazy. This is showing more awareness. It's not balanced. I don't know if her happiness is healing or if her happiness is turning into anger and recklessness, exactly like it did in Summertime Sadness. In Summertime Sadness, I argue that the protagonist of that song kind of lost herself in the sadness, but then it came out of her in a very unbalanced and reckless way, and it was volatile, and she was overtaken by it in a way that was dangerous. I don't know if the same thing is happening here, but the words like lightning and crazy really do show me a state of unbalance, and there was a lot of unbalance present in Summertime Sadness. So if this is the same protagonist, this could very well be something that's happening. It was mentioned that it felt like summer in the first verse of this song. That could have just been a context clue, but it could have been a foreshadow as well, that the same type of narrative that occurred in the song Summertime Sadness is occurring here as well. Let me know what you think. This song ends with the following lyrics. Baby, I just want to dance with you. Baby, I just want to dance with you. Okay, I moved us a little bit to get away from the sunlight, so hopefully this is okay. The protagonist of this song feels isolated. They feel alone, they feel lonely. That's why I just want to dance with you is repeated so many times. There's intensity going on now, but she still says she just wants to dance. And the word just, again, it's so important to me. That qualifier is so important. It shows that this is just all she needs. She's hurt. She told us she's hurt. And when you're hurt, there's a very great vulnerability to that, but hurt can also manifest as anger and reckless behavior. This song is about someone who's hurt. They're trying to find healing from this hurt by feeling close to someone. They just want to feel wanted and loved, which is a very basic human thing to want. I do think sometimes it's dangerous to try to find healing in other people. It is better to find that healing within yourself. It's not easy and it's not like a quick fix, but it is a more reliable fix because you can always rely on yourself. Perhaps the protagonist of the song is searching for answers and happiness in a place that is not right. She's looking for happiness in a place outside of herself. That's why she can't catch it. That's why the butterfly is going into the moonlight. Perhaps if she searched for happiness within herself, it would not escape from her. If she did the work and found the happiness within herself, maybe the butterfly would just come right here and land on her finger and never leave. That's all I have for this song. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already if you want. Let me know if you have any requests for me to do down below. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye. 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 Bye.